How are you? Happy Wednesday. This is Sonia Cato Howard with eWomen, and I am partnering up with Kimmy McNeese, who does eWomen with me. I'm here every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and Kimmy is on every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And together, twice a month, we do eWomen meetup online. You could be anywhere. It's every first and third Tuesday at 9 p.m. And thanks again for joining me tonight. It is the day after Thanksgiving, and it is sad day, my daughter told me. Singles Appreciation Day. And so, to talk about us, to encourage us to talk about ourselves as women, I want to talk about the topic of he don't love you. I know, you know how I'm coming with it. So many of us, we're great women, and we try to be the best that we can for our men. We try to be down for them. We sex them right. We cook for them. We're their best friend. We encourage them when they're down. We push them so they can be the best that they can be because we believe in them. Some of us even give them money to help them get started with their businesses, right? We do their paperwork to get them started. We're their secretary. We're the marketing expert. We're their accountant. We raise their kids. We stand up for them when everybody else says that they're no good. But guess what? They don't treat us the same. They haven't married you yet. He doesn't treat you right. He doesn't stand up for you when he needs to. He doesn't take your side. He doesn't put you first. Some of the men cheat on you. Some of them lie. Some of them don't bring their money home. Some of them don't come home. Some of them don't take care of their kids. They don't take care of business. And they always say that they're going to change, but they don't change. And guess what? We don't always want to be the significant other, a girlfriend forever. We want to be wives because that's what we deserve. He always says he loves you. He says that he wants to marry you, but he says he needs more time. He says you're the only one for him. You know, according to that book that I read, The Wait, they say that a guy knows when you're the one. He knows when he wants to marry you right away. It doesn't take long, like 2 or 3 days, and he knows that you are the one. So if you've been with somebody for a very long time, it's because he don't want to marry you. And if he finally put a ring on it, but he's insistent on a 2-year engagement or longer, it's because he don't want to marry you. And he's stalling for time because he thinks there's somebody else out there. It's the truth. That's what they say. And guess what? You don't want to make nobody marry you because you started off on the wrong foot already, and it's not going to get better. But we deserve more. We deserve, and sometimes we marry the wrong guy. Some of us are already married, but we're not happy for all the reasons that I mentioned earlier. So that means we just settled for less. But you do deserve more. Somebody who can make you happy. Somebody who you can be happy with. Someone who truly loves you. Someone who's a great provider. Someone who will stand up for you. Someone who's a protector. Someone who is a great lover. Someone who's a great father. Someone who loves the Lord and who is accountable to somebody else other than himself. Somebody who's dependable. Somebody who's trustworthy, kind, and loving. You should check out my message that I talked about giving up the goodies. And I basically said that you refrain from sex so that you can truly see who you are getting. You know, when we're sleeping with guys and our emotions, it's hard for us to see clearly who the person really is. And I know for some of you who don't want to practice the wait, you still need to use common sense and pay attention. Pay attention to what he does and pay attention to how he treats you. so that you can move on if you need to, if he's not the one that deserves your love. You know, I can talk about this because I have definitely dated a bunch of the wrong people. I dated the wrong guys, and then I ended up marrying the wrong guys. And my last marriage was awful because he didn't love me. He never chose me. He let his family dog me out. He never stood up for me when I needed him to because he was a coward. He was a bad father. He messed up money. In fact, he spent all of my money. He spent my money starting his businesses. He spent my money buying a truck. He spent my money paying all the bills, all our vacations. And he was a liar. So why did I stay with him as long as I did? For so many of the wrong reasons. I stayed with him because I had low self-esteem. I thought nobody else would marry me. I stayed with him because the marriage before that failed, and I really needed this marriage to work. I stayed with him because I spent so much money on the wedding. You would be surprised how many people go through with the wedding when they have so many red flags that are showing up to showing them that this person is not the one. But because you can't get your money back on the cake, or the photographer, or the DJ, or the place, or the dress, you can't get your money back on anything. So many people go through with it anyway. And my guy disappeared the week before the wedding, and I had no idea where he was. I married him. I stayed with him because he was my high school crush. This was the guy who I always had a crush on. And I mean, surely it was going to work out. I stayed with him because I was embarrassed to tell my family and my friends that it was failing already, that the marriage was going bad already. It was so many things wrong, and I had made a bad decision again to marry him. I stayed with him because I was a Christian. Because I didn't want to disappoint God. I mean, what kind of wife would I be if I didn't even try? If I didn't pray for my husband and wait on the Lord? I stayed with him because my girls needed a dad. I grew up without a dad. And I didn't want my girls to grow up the same way. I wanted a father in the home. I stayed with him for so many reasons. And all of them were bad reasons. Because guess what? He didn't love me. And he never chose me. Any opportunity he had to choose me over anything else, he never chose me. And it took me a long time to wake up. But I did. And when I was free, I cried a lot. I cried because my dream was crushed. My dream of having this happily ever after, it was crushed again. I struggled. I struggled financially. I struggled as a single parent because it's hard. I mean, the whole idea was to buy the house, to buy him a truck, to buy me a truck so that we could do this thing together financially. So I struggled afterwards. I was lonely. I was lonely because now I had no companionship. Before I was crying because he was gone out of town and he was saying ugly stuff and he was doing everything wrong. Now I was crying because I was by myself and I had nobody. But guess what? I had peace. And eventually I had joy. Because I knew that there was somebody out there that would love me the way I needed to be loved. And in the meantime, I worked on me. I got my money right. I went up the career ladder. I spent time with my kids. I got out with my friends. I had fun. I started traveling. I went through a healing process from my abortion. That was something I really needed to go through. So it gave me the time to really reflect on what I had been crying over and what I needed to heal from. And of course, in the process of that, I got closer to the Lord. So I'm telling you, you don't have to stay with somebody just because, especially if they're not treating you well. Staying with somebody who does not love you, who has no intentions of ever marrying you. You need to pay attention to who this person is that you're spending all this time with, this person that you've moved in with, that you've been with for so long. Because guess what? He's not going to change. And please don't make the mistake of marrying them when you have so many red flags pointing to the fact that he doesn't treat you well. It's a new year, ladies, it's a new year. Choose to live your life happy. Thanks for listening. Share it and post it, and join Kimmy tomorrow night, Thursday night, 9 p.m. and meet up twice a month, first and third Tuesdays. Thanks again. Bye-bye.